This is basically how to change out your solenoid valve for your sequencing chair. Either the valve or fix the leak. Your solenoid here, you got a little O-ring on here. Sometimes it fails over time and you start to get a little leak here. If your solenoid still works, you can buy this little O-ring. Easy Spa Parts has them, probably less than $1. If this is leaking, there's a diaphragm and a support ring in there, and this is what opens and closes the valve by bouncing back and forth, and this is also the seal around there. So over time this guy will start to deteriorate, fall apart, dry up, and then you get a leak in here. So this is how you do it. If you're replacing the whole valve, when you buy a new one, it comes with this stuff, but this is what's already glued in your spa, so you could just set that aside, keep the O-rings. Most of the times, this will fit perfectly in there. You don't have to modify it in any way. Sometimes it's a little off. And what you do is these are siliconed and threaded in here. You can unscrew them, take it out, clean all the silicone off, put silicone back on it, and then screw them back into the desired length you need to in order for it to slide right in to replace it. So that's that part. And I'll show you how to replace these diaphragms. It seems very easy, but there is something here. If you do not put it in correctly, if this little guy does not go in a certain spot perfectly, it'll leak again. It'll pinch it and it'll leak again. So what you do, I'm using a drill to take them out, but when you put it back in, you want to use a regular screwdriver because you don't want to crack this housing when you're screwing the screws back in. So these guys just come off like that. That's what it looks like. You've got obviously the valve right there. This guy comes off. These guys like to get stuck in there and they're hard to get out sometimes when they're brand new. Sucker off of there. Okay, these are water tested, so they're all wet. Anyway, you've got a spring that goes right here, this diaphragm that goes in there. If you notice this little nub right here that sticks out, that's where that little piece goes. So when you obviously open this up and you're going to replace this stuff, the ring goes in like this, pushes in like that and flush like so, and then this goes here and this goes in here. And when you do this, you want to make sure that guy fits in there perfectly. Make sure it's snug and everything's in there, and obviously make sure you line it up with this guy when you're putting it back in. So you're going to carefully get that guy back in there and line that sucker up right there, because you do not want to pinch that little piece there or it will leak again. That's it. Screw it back in with your screwdriver, snug. You don't have to crank on it because you don't want to break the housing, because then you'll have to replace the whole thing. So a lot of people ask, can you do this with water in the spa? The answer is yes. If you're a spa tech, definitely yes. If you're not, it can be tricky. So what I used to do as a spa tech, I had extra ones of these in my truck. So what I would do is with water in the tub, usually these support rings are fine. You don't have to replace them. So when I did this when water was in the spa, I just left the original one in there because it was stuck in there and good to go. Because when you take this off and water's in the spa, a lot of water comes out pouring at you. And what I would do is I had extra ones of these, so I would go get one of these from my truck, before this was even off, I would already have an extra one. And I would prep it like this and get it ready to go. That way, when I took this off, I could drop it real quick, grab this, and jam it back on there real quick, and it would work fine. So yeah, you're willing to give that a shot, but if you're doing this on your own spa, you're not going to have this. So you may want someone to come there and stick their hand over that while you prep the new one, and then just get it back on there and hope that you didn't destroy that little guy in there because it'll leak again.